A stem and leaf plot is an arrangement of digits, and we use it to display and order numerical data. Basically, a stem and leaf plot helps us to see distribution of data and put it in order. So if you look at this list of numbers here, if we wanted to make a stem and leaf plot of it, what we're going to do is, first thing is you want to identify the smallest and the biggest number. So if I look through this data, I see 1 is my smallest number and 58, I believe, is my biggest number. So I'm thinking of it as I'm going from 1 to 58. And we're going to break it up into two parts, our stems and the leaves. Here's what I mean. On the left side of this line, we're going to put, in this case, our tens. You're breaking it up between the ones place and the tens place. So I'm going to use 0 because there's no tens for a 1, and then just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to stop at 5 because I've identified 58 as my biggest digit. You're not always going to break it up between the tens and the ones. Sometimes if you have numbers like 5.2, you might choose your break between the 5 and the 2. Sometimes if you had numbers like 134, you might break it between the 13 and the 4. So those are just different examples of what you could do. For the purpose of our examples here, since we're going from 1 to 58, the stems here represent our tens, and we're going to put the ones digit in our leaf. Here's what I mean. Look at 45. There's a 4. That stands for 40. You put 5 on this side of the line. 1, we know that goes over here next to the 0. 52, we have 50s, so I'm going to put a 2 next to it. 42. Now I already have a 5 here, so we just put another column of 2. This represents 45, and it also represents 42. 10, we'll put a 0 after this 1, and you're just going to go through and you're going to do that with all of these numbers. Not hard. It does take a little bit of time. And you got to be careful. You want to kind of keep your numbers lined up vertically. And I like being able to cross them out because then I know I'm not missing any. When I write my 31 down or my 1 down, I can cross out the 31. 6 right now is going to go right here. 41 is going to come here. 37, 8, 41, 48, 42, and you can see from our stem and leaf plot that obviously whatever this represents, there's a lot in the 40s. That doesn't mean that majority is in the 40s, because if you combine all the other rows up, there'll be more than these, but this is, you can see where there's a great concentration if this represented ages or something like that. Alright, so this is the first part of making a stem and leaf plot, but I need to point out two things. Remember I said we use stem and leaf plots to put numbers in order. So it's important that we put it in order for it to be a correct stem and leaf plot. Must be in order. The second thing for stem and leaf plots that we have to remember is that it must include a key. Now, what is a key? A key tells us what these numbers mean. Remember the beginning I said, oh, we could have 5.2 or we could have 134? How do I know this doesn't represent 1.0, 1.1, 1.2? So we need to place a key. And what a key does is you pick any number you want. Maybe I pick 37. And we say 3 line 7 equals 37. That tells me that each of these numbers, this is going to be 35, 31, 37, and 30. Okay? So that's what a key is. But again, it must be in order. So if you have an unordered stem and leaf plot, it should be pretty easy to make an ordered stem and leaf plot. This is what I mean. You can just take, your stems are going to stay the same. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then you can just put these in order. Now some people like to go directly to an ordered 7-leaf plot, and you can do that, but sometimes it gets confusing because you might miss a number here or there and you end up erasing. So I like to do an unordered 7-leaf plot first. And then I can see, well, 1 comes first, then 3, then 6, and then 7, 8, and 9. And when you make it, try to make it neat, lining it up in rows and columns. 0, 1, 2, that one was already in order. Notice here we don't have anything next to the 2. Does that mean we don't even have to write the 2? No, you have to leave the 2 there because it's showing us data here. It's showing us distribution. And again, if this was representing ages, I could see that no one attended this event in the 20s, and then I can figure out why maybe. So it's important that you have the 2 there. You just don't put anything after it. After the 3 here, we have 0, 1, 5, and 7. Now here for the 4, I'm going to start with 2 zeros, and I have 2 1s, 2 2s, 5, 6, and an 8. And then finally in the 50s here I have a 0, a 2, a 5, and an 8. So now we have it in order, but don't forget to put your key. And it doesn't matter what number you pick for a key. You just have to represent what the stem and leaf plot means. Okay, so stem and leaf plot, you're showing numbers in order, and that's going to be helpful later on. And you have to have a key.